Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace, and today is Wednesday, July 24th. I'm recording on a different day, and we're gonna get into that in the episode. But if you are new to the podcast, welcome. I hope you enjoy this episode. This is a podcast about knitting and crafty things and baking and books and cats, but more specifically knitting, because that is what I love to do the most. If you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, I am most active on Instagram, but I have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Ravelry. In addition to that, all the things that I will be talking about in this episode will be linked in the show notes. If you are on YouTube, I have a text message, I apologize. If you are on YouTube, that'll be linked down below to the link to my blog, or if you're on my blog, everything will be down below. So because today is a Tuesday, and I just recorded on whatever day I did, I don't have a whole lot to talk about. But you know what? Gotta do what you gotta do in order to make the podcasting thing work. But we'll talk more about that in the episode. So if you would like to grab something tasty to drink today, I don't have water. I am treating myself to a Coke because it's been a long day so far, and we have weather coming in that I don't know what it is, and so I have a headache, and I'm just needing a little bit of a tasty drink with some caffeine to help with the headache and just all that jazz. I am drinking a lot of water, so don't worry, but it's just, I needed a little pick-me-up, so we went with the Coke. But anyway, so if you would like to grab something tasty to drink or snack upon or craft upon, and you can come back and join me for some crafty drinks. So, why am I recording on a Tuesday? I don't think I've ever recorded on a Tuesday. I mean, I have when it wasn't like a regular podcasting week. Like if I was traveling, I've recorded on a Tuesday, but I don't think I've actually like sat down on a Tuesday to record. So, just super strange today. So why am I recording on Tuesday? If you have not watched the past couple episodes, you might not know that I have a job now at the Modern Skein, which is a yarn store in Montgomery, Texas, which is super exciting. So if you're in the Houston area, or you know where Montgomery is, or if you're visiting, definitely stop by because it is amazing. Currently, the store is open from Wednesday to Saturday, and so I work sometimes on Fridays when I would normally record, or I have recorded for almost the past 2 years. How crazy is that? I decided to switch things up so I wouldn't like even worry about having to record on Friday, or just trying to have to like constantly change it every single week, because I don't want to be inconsistent for you guys. That personally it doesn't annoy me. It's just kind of like, oh well. When podcasts or other YouTuber people that I enjoy do that, I like consistency in my YouTubing schedule or whatever, and it helps that I can write it down in my planner and I know what I need to do, and if I need knitting content, I know that I need to have everything prepared for Tuesday now. So this is super exciting. The podcast will go up on Wednesday, usually. Unless something changes. So it'll go up around the same time, I'm assuming, so around 10-ish, depending on what I'm doing, because I might be working on Wednesday, but I have learned the ways of the YouTube and the WordPress, and things can get scheduled so they post by themselves. So things will not be posted on Saturday anymore. As of right now. That might change. It might go back to the way it was. I don't know. But for right now, I'm recording on Tuesday, and it'll be uploaded on Wednesday. So you'll have a podcast in the middle of the week for your viewing pleasure, which is just very exciting. It'll get you through the second half of the week, hopefully. And yeah, so that is my story, why I'm recording on Tuesday, and why you won't have an episode on Saturday. You will have one on Wednesday. But yeah, if you have any questions or whatever, feel free to ask away on any of the various platforms of asking questions. But yes, the podcast is not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I just have a job now, which is very exciting, and I want to keep on doing this and doing it consistently. So that is why I'm changing my recording day and uploading day. And now you know. So, ta-da! So like I mentioned in the intro, because I literally just recorded on Thursday? Was it Thursday? I don't remember. Whatever day I recorded on. See, this is why, like, it's really confusing now to me, and it's changed and I don't remember. Anyway, whatever day I recorded on last week, because that has been so recent, my knitting time has been very little compared to what it normally is. Normally I would have a week, or almost a week, 6 days, but not today. So because of that, I only have a couple things to show you. There's not a whole lot to show you, but I'm going to show you anyway because this week we're resetting the whole schedule, and so that has to happen, and oh well. Also, I realize you might be like, oh, we can see your forehead today. I was just really not in the mood to deal with my bangs today. I also had to wash my hair because I went and worked out, and I took a class with our local YMCA, and I was incredibly sweaty. And my mom and I laughed on the phone earlier this morning that I needed to take a shower before recording because nobody wanted to see a sweaty me on the podcast. Also, that's not relevant to knitting, so my hair is wet, or was wet, and it's up in a bun with my bangs. So they're currently out of commission. They're being tucked away, so you do what you gotta do when your hair doesn't cooperate. Yes, so that's not relevant to the podcast, but whatever, now you know. So, we are to begin. I'll show you this thing first. It's living in a Christmas bag because, you know, I like Christmas a lot. This is probably one of my favorite Christmas bags. It's by Stitched by Jessalou, and which is probably one of my favorite project bag Etsy stores. All of her stuff is super high quality and so amazing, and she has such fun fabrics. I have many of her bags, but this is in a Christmas bag because that's what you do in the end of July, because why not? Christmas is almost here, basically, based off of how quickly this year is going by. So yes, anyway. What is in this bag? This is a very old project that I have not finished, but should have. You'll recognize it. This is the Hadfield hat, I think, by Pam Allen. I'm just really pulling this out of the top of my head. Is that the phrase? Out of my hat? Something like that. I did not do research on this. I don't remember. So so yes, this is a hat, just a very simple beanie. It also has a lot of cat hair on it. It will have a pom-pom. I'm not sure what color yet, but look how beautiful that color is. This is how dark it is in person back here. But you can see the variegation up close. You can't see it quite as well back here. So, this is, I know it's Quince & Company, and I know that the colorway name is Mars, but I don't know the base. It's one of their newer ones, or newer ones in the past, like year, 2 years, something like that. So this was a hat that my mom found, and we were supposed to knit this together. Hers is finished, which is no surprise because she's much better at completing stuff in a timely manner than I am, which is wonderful, and hers is super cute. Obviously mine is not done, but I'm super close. I don't remember, let's see, actually I have my tape measure in here. I remember how many inches I'm supposed to have. This is in the fisherman's, it's a fisherman's rib, which if I am remembering correctly, I feel like that's a form of brioche, but you just knit it differently. So, oh man, measure, measure, measure. How much more do I have? Oh my goodness, I think I have 1.5 inches left. Very excited. Again, I'm pulling out these things that I need to finish, haven't finished, super good projects to work on at the yarn store when I'm working. So yes, I'm really loving it. The fisherman's rib is definitely not the most like intuitive, or I mean it is very intuitive. What am I trying to say? It's not, it's more challenging for me to not look at my knitting when I'm knitting it. Like I have to look at what I'm doing. I can't just like knit away in the fisherman's rib without looking at it, which is, I mean, that's my own fault. I need to practice at it more. There's so much cat hair on this thing. How did this even happen? It's been tucked away. Things you didn't know about the hat that you can't tell on the podcast. So yes, I am super excited about this. I think this hat will look super, super good on me. Color-wise, I'm super excited. I think what I'm going to do, I don't have any examples over here, but what I'm thinking is maybe having a dark gray or a gray pom-pom, maybe? I think. I can see some gray sitting in my, like, big container of yarn over there that's just scraps and stuff, and I think it would look really pretty with this. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Obviously I have a ways to go, but once I get started on the decreases, it's gonna go super quickly because there'll be less stitches, and like that's just how things work. So I'm really excited to finish this. Obviously I can't wear it now because Texas is really hot, and it's just very sweaty all the time. You don't need hats to wear in July. So I know I say this every week, and I do apologize for how much I talk about the weather. I know it's just something that I'm quite fascinated with the weather. If that's something, fun fact about me, actually, fun fact, we'll have a little bit of a story time now. Because if you like to know something random about me that not a whole lot of people know, if you are in close contact with me or I talk to you a lot, you might be aware of this, but I am quite obsessed with the weather. I think it is fascinating. I think it is really incredible to watch things develop storm-wise and just like pressure things. I'm obviously not very technical about it because I know they're not called pressure things, but you know what I mean. Pressure systems, is that what they're called? I didn't obviously do weather or meteorology in college, although I probably would have found that really interesting, but I think it would have been too much math and too much science for me to handle. But I really do enjoy the weather. I am constantly watching the weather online and obviously out the window and just seeing what things do, how they're developing. I also, one of the other reasons why I watch the weather is I get bad weather headaches when there's storms coming in and there's like changing of the pressure and there's dust storms that come in and all that kind of stuff. And so it helps me kind of track if I need to be on the lookout for an upcoming headache that might be a problem. and stuff like that. So that's super helpful. Also, fun fact, another fun fact about me. When I was young, and probably not as much now, but still is an issue, I was absolutely terrified of tornadoes, which obviously if you live in Oklahoma, that's kind of an issue. So I, for some reason, researched tornadoes out the wazoo. I knew all the things that you could know about tornadoes, and I was terrified of them. I studied them because I was terrified of them. I don't know. So I'm pretty like always keeping an eye out for things that could like be a sign of a tornado coming, which obviously is less of a danger in Houston than it is in Oklahoma, but it still happens. Or in Dallas, when we lived there, we had several scares, and that was pretty terrifying. Like I said, I'm not as scared as I was when I was younger, but it's not a fun time. I'm still relatively concerned about tornadoes. They're definitely something that I don't really enjoy thinking about them happening, but I do find them fascinating. Like when I see a picture of one, it's kind of like it's something that I can't stop looking at even though I'm scared of it. Does that make sense? This is super random, and I do apologize for this randomness and story time about me, but I just thought it would be interesting to share with you because I am very interested in the weather. That is why I talk about it a lot, for multiple reasons, and I have explained why. So now you know a little bit more about me. I love pizza, and I'm fascinated with the weather, and I like to knit, but you already knew that I like to knit. So anyway, that's the end of that story time. Let's move on with some knitting. So more knitting. I have 2 test knits going. I am very excited about both of them. One has just been started. The other one is very close to being done. I will show you the one that you guys are more familiar with first. Is this still connected to some yarn? Yes, this is connected to some yarn. So this is pretty much, oh, that's not connected to some yarn. I don't know what I was thinking. So this is pretty much all the way done except for the sleeves, and I have one more side. This is also covered in cat hair. I do apologize if you can see that, but that's a hazard of living with a cat. All cat owners out there, or animal dog owners, not just cats. Pet hair is an issue that you just have to accept, and you love them anyway. I don't know why I'm trying to fold that down. It's not going to stay. So I finished both the fronts and the back. I did that. I cast off. Super awesome. I have done a 3 needle bind off for this thing. The shoulder, that's the more technical term. It is a drop shoulder. I'm super excited about that. I love that. It's also really cool because normally when you do a 3 needle bind off, you would hold the right sides together in order to hide this little ridge here, but it's part of the design, and I think that's super cool. I really like that. I wasn't expecting not to like it, but I was surprised at how much I did like it. This side is done. I just need to do the 3 needle bind off on this side. And yeah, let's pull these so they don't get lost. So this is what I have. I'm super loving it. It's gonna grow a little bit once I get it blocked and we can have this laying flat finally. I'm so in love with this thing. I think it's amazing. I think I'm gonna get a lot of really good wear out of it. I'm very excited to knit the sleeves and then be able to take pictures. There's so much cat hair and all that jazz. So I'm really excited to be able to share that with you guys. I'm not sure when exactly this pattern is coming out. I know that it might have the test knitter's due date I think has been changed slightly, so I'm not sure how that's going to affect when this pattern comes out, but never fear. I'll keep you guys updated and all that jazz. And when I'm done with this, obviously you guys will see. So I'm very excited about it. I really love working with this yarn. I use Cascade 220 fingering in like this maroony colorway, and then this, I always remember the color of the contrasting one, but I can never remember the color of this one. I know that this one, the gray, is like doe skin heather or something like that, but I don't remember what the maroon is. It's like, it's not burgundy, it might be mulberry. Also, this is more accurate of what it looks like. Fun fact. That is not accurate. That's way more red and pinky. Back here, this is definitely more accurate. So, I'm super excited to wear this. Again, I think it's going to look super good color-wise on me. And it'll look so good with so many different things. And I'm excited to be able to wear it for lots of different occasions and different things, so I'm very excited about this. This is, and more importantly, who is the designer? So this is a Caitlin Hunter pattern that I am test knitting for. She designed the pattern, and we are working with Veronica of Yarn of the House. I can never remember which, if it's of or on, but Yoth Yarns. Yop. You know what I mean. It'll be linked in the show notes, so never fear. I'm very excited about this. Like I said, I think it'll be awesome. It's very lightweight, which is another plus of this yarn. I will definitely be knitting more fingering weight sweaters with this yarn for sure, So I'm super excited about it. So lastly is a new test knit. I have a lot done, as you can see. I am very excited about it. This is going to be a cabled pullover, and I am testing this for her Ravelry name and Instagram name is Flossie Knits, and the designer's name herself is Claire. So I'm super excited to be doing this. This is a pieced together jumper or pullover, so that is very exciting. It's been a while since I've knit a sweater in pieces, so I'm excited to be able to do that again. I am in love with this color. Everybody, excuse me, I'm just so excited about this color. Words are just tumbling out. How beautiful is that? Like, it's still even not quite that, but I'm using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Sport in the currant colorway, I believe. Yes. It is just absolutely gorgeous. It's like a plummy maroon, and you might be wondering, how can you have so much maroon? And I would reply, I love the color, and also it's my school's colors. Not that I'm still in college, but they are. Once an Aggie, always an Aggie. So, yes. Started with the back. Doing the ribbing for, I don't remember how much, but that's information that you don't share because it's part of the pattern. And then I start on the cable pattern. So that is very exciting. I'm thinking, based off of what I have read in the pattern, I think this is another cable that I can do without a cable needle, which is also super great because this is a skill that I really want to like make sure that I'm good at and like am always doing if possible. So I think it'll be super great. I'm loving this so far. I did have a hard time yesterday. Oh, this was actually very, very frustrating. I had a hard time like just figuring out and finding the right needles that I needed to use, and I was just like, I know I found them, I know that I've gotten gauge, and I know that it'll be fine, but where are my needles? And then I couldn't find them. I eventually found them, but that was just super frustrating because I had a really long to-do list yesterday. I got everything done, and So I was like, it's time to knit. I also need to like work on this test knit because that's important, and I need to make progress because there is a due date. And so that was frustrating. The next frustrating thing, I've never done a tubular cast on. And that was part of the pattern, or it was a suggested method of casting on, but it wasn't like you have to do it. So I was like, you know what? This seems like a good time to learn how to do a kind of, to do a tubular cast on. And I kept trying and trying and trying and trying, and it wasn't the fault of the pattern, but I was not getting it. And I didn't know why, and I didn't know what the problem was, which was just super frustrating because I don't usually have problems like that. And I'm not saying that in a prideful way. I'm just like, usually if I can find a YouTube video on it, I can figure it out. Like it's pretty easy for me to do that. But for whatever reason, the tubular cast on was not working for me. So I worked on it for about an hour and ripped it out because it wasn't working. And I just did my regular twisted German cast on, which is my preferred cast on. Which I know it doesn't look the same, but the pattern said that I could do whatever I wanted to. So that's what I did. And it's not because I didn't try. I tried for an hour and I couldn't get it. And I was really frustrated, and I was like, you know what, this is not worth it. I need a little bit of like, I can do this knitting. And I'm not totally incompetent and don't know how to teach myself how to do a tubular cast on. I will eventually get it. I know I will. I was just, for some reason, I was not getting it. But that's okay. I'm gonna learn it eventually, and then it'll be awesome. And then I can share this information with you guys, and we can all celebrate together. Anyway, so I believe this pattern is called Corbel, C-O-R-B-E-L. And yeah, it's just your traditional cabled jumper or pullover, however you want to call it, wherever you are. Very simple. It's super classy looking, and I think in this color, I think it'll be amazing. It looked like the type of thing that you would see in a store like Target or something like that, or some kind of like clothing store, like a cabled sweater, and you'd be like, oh my goodness, that's so cute. I could wear that with literally everything, and that will be a staple pullover or a staple sweater or whatever. I can wear it with everything and it'll look so cute, and I just need it so much. So I'm making that. I'm very excited about it, and I cannot wait to wear it. And I know I say that about everything, but you need to be excited about the things that you're knitting, otherwise then why are you knitting them? So I am super excited to be test knitting this pattern. I am very grateful for this opportunity to test knit this, so I will keep you guys updated for sure. Hopefully by next Tuesday I'll have more to show you. Hopefully I will have started on the cable pattern. That is my plan. So, making progress. Okay. So, I realize I haven't talked to you guys a whole lot about books in a while. I've said in the past that even if I'm reading something and I don't think you guys would be very interested in it, or it's just not really like outstanding, I probably won't talk about it. So if you want to always be up to date on what I'm reading, that's totally fine. I would do the same thing if I knew of people that had Goodreads, and there are several people that I know that have Goodreads that I watch what they read. I don't find that creepy at all. So if you want to see what I'm reading, you can be my friend on Goodreads, and you can get all that updates, and then I can see what you're reading, and that's super cool, and blah 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 blah. I am like listening to things, but it's just not like, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. Baking, on the other hand, I have some baking things to share with you. I made on Monday, which was it yesterday, yesterday I made some raspberry crumble bars, which, oh my goodness, they're so good. It's the type of recipe where you can use literally any kind of fruit. The recipe just called for raspberry, and I was super excited about making raspberry something. So raspberry was. But it's frozen raspberries. You put together the filling. You make a crumble topping bottom thing. You press it into the pan. You bake the bottom for a while. You put the filling on top, and then you put the crumble on top, and then you bake it for some, and then you put it in the refrigerator so it can cool and become bars. And oh my goodness, everybody, it's so good. Would recommend. It'll be linked in the show notes. I forget what the blog is called where I got the recipe from. I always want to call recipe patterns, but I know it's basically a food pattern, but they're called recipes. You know what I mean. Also, this week, I will be doing more baking because on Saturday is my husband's birthday, which is super exciting. So I will be making him a cake. There's a bug. What? Excuse me. I'll be making him a cake at some point. He has requested a chocolate cake with coffee in it with a cream cheese frosting. So I have found a Cake Doctor recipe, which if you don't know what that is, it's a or it's basically just a cake mix that's been doctored up, so it's more extravagant and more moist and all that kind of stuff, and just very delicious, and added things that are other than the things that are listed on the box. So that's super exciting. I am very much looking forward to making that. I think it's fun to bake things that are relatively simple on a more regular basis, but occasionally have something that's a little bit more challenging. This is not super challenging, but I am planning on using cake tins, and it'll be like a 2-layer type thing. So, because I have a really pretty cake stand and I just really love putting things on it. So that is super exciting, and I'm really looking forward to making that on Friday, I think. So I think I'm going to be making the icing tomorrow, but the cake will be made on Friday night, if I remember what I have planned. It's going to be a crazy week. It's a busy week, but that's okay. The cake will get made, which is the main point. So also in regards to yarn store news, or just information and such, we do have online orders, so if you want to order something from the website, that is definitely possible. If you'd like to check out the website, it'll be linked in the show notes. Also, so last week, and I think maybe the week before, I said that I am teaching a Caitlin Hunter hat class, and I said it was color work class, or it's something. I don't remember which one I said, and then I realized I thought it was the other one. It's actually both. So I'm teaching in the round knitting and color work. You will be learning both those things in one class, which is super exciting. That is on August 9th from 2 to 4. I believe August 9th is a Thursday? Wednesday? I don't remember, but so that's super exciting, and currently I think there are 3 people signed up, which is super exciting. So if there are spaces for 3 more people, so if you are in the area, or if you know someone who's in the area and wants to learn how to knit in the round and knit color work, you should definitely come and take this class, because I'm so excited about it, and I'm really excited to teach these techniques and knit this hat pattern. Also because I'm really super excited to knit it, and it'll be a lot of fun. So I'll be knitting it with you guys, and yeah, so I'll cast that on August 9th, and then I can show it to you guys on the podcast. So yay. So I think that is it for this week. I feel like even though this is a lighter week, we still did have a lot of chatting to talk about. A lot of chatting going on. A little bit rambly probably. So I'm sorry for that. But anyway, I see we've been recording for 38 minutes, so that's pretty good for a very short noticed time in between episodes. So that's really good. So yeah, I think that's all that I have for you guys. I hope you have had a wonderful weekend, and I hope you continue to have a wonderful week. We gotta switch that up now because we're not coming up on the weekend because it's only Tuesday. So yeah, I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. I hope you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have crafty plans, I hope they're successful. I have crafty plans. I have a lot of them. I always have a lot of them. I really want to cast on all the things, but I'm refraining. I feel like, side note really quick before we continue on with ending this episode. Part of me is, I've been wanting to cast on things so badly. I want to cast on everything. And part of me is wondering if I should just cast on everything, and kind of like if you have too much of something, like if you were really craving chocolate and like you couldn't stop thinking about it, and then you like ate a bunch of chocolate so you wouldn't want it anymore, like, so what does that work with knitting? I feel like that's kind of what I want to do, but I know that might not be a good idea. But yeah, I just cannot stop thinking about things I want to cast on. I have so many things that I do want to knit, so many things I have yarn for that are just ready to go. I'm gonna be getting yarn for some things on Thursday when I go into work. So yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I want to cast on things. I also want to finish things. I don't know. So I have lots of crafty plans in the works. Things I need to finish, things I need to start, and things I need to plan for and then start. So all the crafty plans, Yes. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, if you like to follow me on any of the social medias, there's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram for sure, so go and give me a follow over there. If you would like to check out any of the things that I've talked about, like those raspberry crumble bars because they were so good, all of that stuff will be linked in the show notes, which will be on my blog. So if you're on YouTube, the link to my blog will be down below, or if you're on my blog, everything will be down below. So all good things for you to see and you have access to, so fun times. I apologize that there will not be an episode on Saturday, but you will have one in the middle of the week. It will come earlier than normal on Wednesday, which will be when you are watching this, so happy Wednesday to you. And yes, the schedule has changed, and I've been recording on Friday for the past almost 2 years, which is just insane. Insane! Is it 2 years or it's not 3 years? I think it's just 2 years. Yes? No. Maybe? I don't know. We'll figure that out. I'll figure that out, and I'll have that information for you next Tuesday. So that's very exciting. This podcast, I've been doing this for a while, so it's pretty crazy. You've seen me in all the various locations that I've lived in, so including my parents' house, which is also very fun. So that is not the point. But if you are a new viewer, thank you so much for coming and checking me out. I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming and spending some time with me. I really appreciate every single one of you coming back every single week and just listening to me ramble about my knitting and other things that are going on in my life, because that is really special and I really appreciate it. If you would like to just help spread the love of the podcast, you can give it a like, and you can also subscribe, because that would help people who are looking for other knitting podcasts on the YouTube world. It'll help this podcast come up in the searches, so that would be very wonderful, and I would really appreciate it. And I guess that's all that I have for you guys this week. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!